Hey everyone, this is Dave with Coal Creek Guitars. Today we're going to talk about neck contour. So this is another element or another spec of a guitar that is really important actually to a lot of people. Again, not so much for beginner players because you're just learning, but you know, for someone who is an experienced player, if you're looking at purchasing an instrument that's kind of over the $200 price point, you start to care more about things like what is the guitar's weight, what's the nut width, and you know, things like this. What is the neck contour? And so first off, what does it mean when someone says what type of neck is this guitar? You know, what is the contour, or what type of neck is it? Well, if you see here in the screenshot, we've got a couple different options. So they're usually identified by letters, so a C shape, a D shape, or a V, or a U. And so we're going to just go over the most common variants of these and what do they mean, okay? And then I'm going to use this handy dandy tool I have to measure this guitar's neck and kind of show you guys an example. So the first one you'll see is a C shape. Now this is the most common neck profile that you'll see out there. It's found on most modern guitars, Fenders and Gibsons and Gibson slim tapers. It gives you a rounded, comfortable, kind of neutral feel to the guitar. So kind of a good all-around feel. So what it basically means is that I'm going to turn this guy over. Okay. All right, so basically what we're talking about is the neck. So, you know, going from one side to the other, there's like an arc here, okay? So this arc can be different shapes, all right? So if it's just a continuous rounded all the way around, that's literally known as a C shape. So it's basically looks like a letter C if you were to put a C profile right up against it. So that is your most common. That's what this guitar is. And we'll go ahead and use the measuring tool. I got this from Stu Mac, but you know, you don't have to use this, and we'll talk about that more in just a minute. But if I go ahead and just push this down and lock it, you can kind of get an idea and just see it looks like a letter C if you were to put it on its side. So this is a C-shaped neck right here. Okay. All right. So the next one would be a D. This is similar to the C, but there's more, elongated on the top and bottom. So you'll see these more with an Ibanez, a Jackson, and ESP type guitars. This is more common in guitars where speed and technical playing might be important. It's less ideal for players that want to do thumb over work. There is also U-shaped guitars. So when you see that, that's definitely more of a vintage thing. Again, less common. Great for big hands, great for rhythm. It can feel bulky and a little bit slower on leads. And then lastly, another vintage one is the V shape. So you can see these on vintage reissues, Clapton Strats. Great for thumb placement and blues playing. It's kind of cool in niche, but it's not for everybody. But at the end of the day, so let's just review those four again. So the C shape, which we see here, it's kind of your safe all around, most common, best type of neck, or best neck contour that you can find. The D shape is more of a fast type of modern feel. U is more of a thick vintage, and V is kind of a distinct one-off, love it or hate it. Now, we talked about using the tool to identify the neck. I mean, if you don't have one of these, which I'll bet a lot of you don't, I just want to, based on what I've shown in these images, you don't have to have a gauge. You can kind of just use your hand and your feel just to kind of figure it out, all right? This isn't like an exact science, so it's not that hard. And the best thing to remember is this. It really doesn't necessarily matter how it feels to you. It really matters, whoever's buying this guitar, whoever the player is, to feel it themselves. So the reason you'd want to have this type of measurement is to list it online. You know, people that can't touch, they can't see it in person, they're going to want to know, all right? But if someone is coming to see the guitar in person, you can sit here and say, yeah, it's a D shape, but at the end of the day, they should be encouraged to try it themselves, because at the end of the day, it's really about personal feel on these guitars. Anyways, that's our video, and thank you. This is Dave from Cold Creek Guitars signing off, and we'll talk again soon.